That's how we named our first child. My wife and I having our first child. We knew we were gonna name the child, if it was a boy, it was gonna be William or Billy Breuer. You know, when you're having a kid, you already in your head call the kid's name out. I already saw him up at the bat. Let's go, Bill, big Bill Brewman. I already had it on, like, yeah, I like that. Okay. Now, if it was a girl, we had no clue. My wife was like, what about Jackie or Jacqueline or this and that? In my head, probably because it's my first child, if it's a female, I want the name to represent an angel. I haven't read the Bible. I'll listen to things, so I don't know who's angels and all that. So I said, what about Angela? My wife laughed in my face. She went, that doesn't have anything to do with angel. That's like an Italian name. Like, we're not Italian. Well, I know, but angel is kind of like an angel, Angela. I don't know. So she comes in and she went, what about Gabrielle? It's the archangel of Gabrielle. And to this day, I couldn't even tell you what Gabrielle is. I guess it's the messenger of good news, or I don't know. So this would be the female version. And I went, Gabrielle? No, we're not naming our kid Gabby. I was no, hard no. No, don't like it. So now we're getting close. She's about 6 months in, belly's popping, and what's the girl name? I don't know, we're still trying to figure out, I don't know. I'm not sure about Gabrielle. I'm not feeling it. So it's the week of this kid expected to be born. We still have a name if it's a girl. We lived in Manhattan. We lived on 63rd and West End. We walked from there to Central Park. And by the time my wife got to Central Park, she was really tired. And we found a little place under a tree in Central Park. And I put out a little blanket and she instantly passed out. She's taking a nap. Don't ask me why. In the distance, I saw some kids playing, with a ball and they're playing around. In my head, while she's napping, the name Gabrielle starts popping up. Gabrielle, look at you, Gabrielle. Gabrielle, come over here. Gabrielle, look how cute you look today. So I have no clue why that name started seeping back in my head. And my wife wakes up and now we're gonna walk back to our apartment. In Central Park, as you leave the park area where the grass is, there's a jogging, walking path that goes around the whole thing. People are on bicycles, they're rollerblading, they're roller skating. The traffic was heavy that day, and so I found an opening and we start walking across, and out of nowhere comes this guy who, the best way to describe him is, you ever get that feeling when you see someone and you're like, there's a wire missing, or it's just a little off. Just a little off. But I wasn't scared. I didn't get a dark feeling. It was just a little off. And he immediately walks up to my wife and he says, oh, wow, you're having a beautiful baby girl. She said, I don't know what we're having. I said, yeah, we don't know. He goes, no, that's a baby girl. I said, okay, well, thank you. And he starts following us, and not like stalking, but we took a couple steps and he continues past. He goes, do you have a name for her? And that's when I started getting, I got a little agitated and I wanted to be protective. I turned around and I said, we told you we don't know what it is yet. And he goes, oh, it's a little girl. She's an angel. You got a little angel there. Should name her Gabrielle. And when he said that, on my life, my wife and I were holding hands. She squeezed my hand, and I had hairs in areas of my body I didn't know. Like the hairs of my rear end stood straight up, on my calf. I remember just like, what are the odds of somebody out of nowhere coming up saying, That's an angel. Should name her Gabrielle. Out of all the names he could have picked. And we just went, okay, there he goes, there you go. She's Gabrielle. And he turned around and faced us like this and kind of walked back into the crowd. And he said, come back Sunday, it's gonna be a beautiful day. And just walked away and we're like, what was that? What is that? The birth was horrifying. We went to the hospital. My wife has delivered 3 children. That first one was an absolute disaster in New York City. They were so not helpful. They were borderline mean, to be honest with you. It was a terrible experience. She's in tons of pain. I remember going up and she was like, can you please go ask them how much longer it is? And I remember going up and I said, my wife's in a lot of pain. The lady's like, of course she's in pain. She's pregnant. I said, is there any? She's like, I called the doctor and when he gets here, he gets here. It's like, okay. So it was bad. The kid got stuck. We didn't know if the baby was gonna make it. My wife had 104 temperature. They were bathing her with ice bath. They were afraid she was gonna pass away or the baby was gonna pass away. After hours and hours and hours and hours, they used like the suction cup and pulled her out. And I mean, it's funny and not funny, but you know, a kid's head is not developed. So when they pull it out, the head was stretched. It was like a banana head. They're like, oh yeah, that's normal. That'll go back to normal. And I was like, and I remember them going, do you have a name for the baby? It's a girl. And I was like, I think we gotta name it Gabrielle. At the end of the day, you can look at that as, was that a messenger through the universe and energies of what we put out there? Or was it just some guy a little off out of nowhere and the circumstances just incredible coincidence? I'd like to think more of the first one. You could try to explain it all you want, but out of all the names in the world, that's the one he picked? Out of all the names that we picked for a so-called angel, because I said I feel it's an angel, Gabrielle, and of all the things, that's what this man said. She's an angel, name her Gabrielle. You could try to scientifically, however you want to put that together, I don't care what you say. That is a deeper connection that we just don't take the time to understand or even look into. But I'm telling you, I lived it. That's real right there. I mean, you can't even make that up.